What is up, everyone? Welcome to Let's Replay Bastion. If you've been following the channel long enough, you'll remember that Bastion was my very first Let's Play series. Episode 1 was the first video on the channel, and to be honest, that series sucked. I had no idea how to commentate at the time, especially not while playing. I was doing it blind, and the truth is, I didn't know enough about the game, and I've been thinking about revisiting Bastion in LP form for a very long time now. Because of all my early LPs, I have the most regrets about the Bastion one. It's not just because it was my first LP and it was a learning experience and there were growing pains and technical difficulties and all that stuff, but because Bastion is an incredible indie game from the folks at Supergiant Games, and I was in no position at the time to do it justice. So in a way, this will be like my other LPs. It's going to be a love letter to a great game, and it's going to be an informative retrospective. I have to change something up though, so here's going to be the twist. I'm going to go through on New Game Plus with a maxed out save file. Everything is unlocked on this save file, including 10 idols, which dramatically increase the difficulty of the game. I've never done a 10 idol run before, so this should be at the very least interesting and chaotic. Without further ado, because I've wasted enough time on this intro, let's find out why I'm so fond of Bastion and why it deserves better treatment than what I gave it years ago.
I'll see you in the next one. Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky. He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble.
That line of dialogue is just slightly different here in New Game Plus. That beginning bit isn't there on New Game, and it kind of acknowledges that things are cyclical. That, by the way, is the stranger Ruck, our syrupy-toned narrator voiced by Logan Cunningham.
Ground forms up under his feet as it pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why.
The narration was one of the main selling points of the game.
Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. In the calamity.
So now that I have the sail hammer, I can not only swing it around and break all the walls and debris and stuff, I can also roll, and my evasive roll has a little bit of invincibility to it.
Ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. An old repeater falls out of the sky. Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do.
The repeater is going to be a little bit different than you might remember if you haven't played this yourself and you only watched my series a while ago.
He's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink.
Since I have everything upgraded, this thing is a force to be reckoned with, just ricocheting shots all over.
Tunnels up around them. Must have fled here from the mines. Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her.
Let's check this thing out. Crystal Beret, a memento, a fashion accessory recovered in soot. Holds great value of the sentimental variety. Also holds hair firmly in check. Best hang on to it just in case. And the city crest is another memento, an identification badge from the old days. All those on official business for the city here bear the Star of Solandia, said to represent warmth, labor, and sacrifice. And it's the crest that he has on his back. You can see the little gear that the kid is carrying around.
He sets foot inside one of Solandia's famous watering holes. Wait, haven't I? Anyway, Rondé's place just brings back memories.
That's another slightly altered line for New Game Plus.
Rondé always wanted his ashes scattered here.
And the calamity has turned Rondé to ash, the bartender. And we now have access to our shield, which allows us to block and to parry.
The security takes him for a petty thief. Special delivery. Gas fellas.
If you don't destroy these crates in time, they'll usually spawn squirts or the medium enemies, gas fellas.
More squirts start coming out of the woodwork.
By the way, I'll try not to constantly drown Rucks out. It's gonna happen occasionally.
Pops out in front of the kid.
Like right there. Subtitles are on for that reason.
Kid sees the way to the Bastion out the window.
Try not to talk over anything important that Rucks has to say.
He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke. Kid spies a good perch for some target practice. He knows he should draw the string all the way back.
So with the bow here, the longer you hold down the fire button, the more he'll charge it up and the more damage the arrow will do once you loose it.
Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid.
And this is our very first secret skill, the whirlwind. Let's show that off.
Mighty fast learner.
Mighty fast learner right off the bridge. So we'll take out the
Right
security
back at
turrets.
ya. He finds the distillery right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town.
And before I head in the distillery, what you saw there was
One
if
sip
you
of the
block
spirits
right in
that
time,
distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man.
you will do a counterattack, which usually deflects projectiles back. Can do some other stuff too. So here we have tonics. Tonics act as passive enhancements for you. And there's a lot to choose from, and I have all of them unlocked. So Bastion Bourbon, definitely want that. The thing I want the most is, God, it's like Life Leech something. Get down to that eventually. Bold Brandy, I think, is something I want. Stab Synth I saw. Yep. Not gonna linger on these descriptions too long. I'm pretty sure I have, I know what I want here. I have a little bit of a shopping... Leech Aid, that's it. Leech Aid allows you to recover health from enemies that you hit. So it's Life Leech. And yeah, the Gimlet will round things out.
The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job.
Okay, so I want my good old flamethrower, the Fire Bellows. And either the carbine or I might actually take the musket. There it is. This thing acts as a shotgun and it is destructive. Oh right, secret skill too. So should I take Burning Carousel or Mirror Shield? I think Mirror Shield, once you activate it, it will it automatically deflects incoming attacks for the duration that it's active. So those are our basic controls. We have a loadout of 2 weapons at a time, with a lot of variation between ranged and melee weapons. All the weapons feel very fun and unique. We have our secret skills.
Birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins.
We have blocking and parrying and rolling, and that's about it for our main controls.
An old ferry barge sends the kid on his way. The Bastion's real close now.
Mechanically, the weapons vary a ton, so you have a lot of permutations of upgrades and tonics, and all sorts of ways to enhance those weapons and different melee and ranged things. This is my favorite track in the game. It's called Terminal March, I believe.
It's a chunk of alloy.
Oh, we'll check that out. Oh, it's upgrade material for the Sailhammer. Not sure that I'm gonna need any upgrade material.
Smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags.
Oh, that's a good description.
Kid made
Barley
me
and
feel
spoiled
dumb when he
blueberries.
just did.
So one of the functions of the flamethrower at the moment is that from a long range we can apply a burning damage over time effect to enemies. That's what you see represented by the skull above them. They're taking constant damage from the flame. And underneath them, you get their health bar, which I think is actually pretty elegantly done. Instead of having like a tacky health bar overhead, they have this elegant display of the health as rings below the enemies.
The core to the Wharf District. He steals the city's heart. Might as well.
Some other things in the top right, you have my currency. Those are the blue shards that have been dropping from enemies. I think they're called fragments.
The place is starting to fall. See, that core kid took was the only thing making this particular rock stay afloat. Kid just keeps running. Somersaulting like crazy.
This whole soundtrack is unbelievable. It's out of this world. It's one of the best of all time.
At last, the skyway's in sight. Whisks him where it needs to go.
Everything about the presentation and the aesthetics of this game are impeccable.
Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races.
So we made it back to the Bastion.
Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. We talk for a spell. There's a bit of the Bastion's power in that crest, enough to point the way to the cores. All I tell him is to set that core of his on the monument there, then watch. I try to let the kid down gently. This is the Bastion, all right, except no one else showed up.
The Bastion is kind of a holdover, as we find out. It's a shelter that's depowered from a lack of cores that we'll have to travel around
Just
and
like
collect.
that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again, growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power to good use. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown.
From here, we can unlock different buildings around the Bastion, which allow you to do different stuff. The very first thing I'm going to unlock is the Shrine, because that's what's going to allow us to invoke the 10 gods and do the 10 idol run. Story-wise, it's where everyone was supposed to go after the Calamity, this mysterious disaster that occurred.
Behold, the Pantheon.
Goddess of pain and pleasure, foes shall strike with greater ferocity. They say the veiled widow is smiling beneath her robes, her body all scratches and scars.
Hensa. A Kobe.
Goddess of oath and abandon, foes shall have vengeance in the throes of defeat. No one bound the chastened maid, save for herself. Her shackles are her own design.
The Main.
God of hope and despair, foes shall induce sloth with each strike. Before each battle, soldiers prayed that the Mason King grant them high morale.
Pith.
God of commotion and order, foes shall grow quicker to move and to strike. The wakeful bull, patient yet temperamental, adorns the city's walls with his likeness.
Javel.
God of health and atrophy, foes shall gain resilience to physical harm. Half the Tower Keeper's face is that of youth in his prime, and the other an old man.
Garmouth.
God of purpose and folly, foes shall deflect attacks on a whim. Despite his lack of senses, the crippled Duke gives counsel to the humble and the wise.
Aulic.
God of chance and whim, foes shall sometimes turn to air, unable to be hit. Alive forever in a single moment, the carefree sun plays beyond the reach of time.
Messiah.
Goddess of loss and longing, foes shall regenerate from any injury. The Lorn Mother gave away her heart and bears the Star of Celandia in its stead. God of thirst and plenty, foes shall never yield health tonics or black tonics. The gorging host grows ever larger, yet remains insatiable, his eyes awash in tears.
Rothus. Udrig.
God of impulse and bravery, foes shall cause harm on physical contact. The morning stallion affects the wishes of all people upon the break of each new day.
The gods never liked competing for people's affections.
So those are the 10 idols. The reason I'm doing this on New Game
Kid
Plus
don't know what's out there waiting for him.
is because you can only get 2 of the idols
Now the kid can ride the wind to distant lands.
on New Game Plus, so that's the complete 10. And we're off to the Workman's War, the very first level of Bastion, aside from
now
the
he
tutorial.
lands at the intersection between bad and wrong. Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one? He heads for the east side, where windbags used to keep the local forge.
There are 4 pathways branching off from the center here. One of them leads to a core that we can put into the Bastion. The other 3 lead to some items and a little bit of lore. Once I take care of all these guys, getting cornered, we can use the forge.
Inside the forge, Key can fine-tune those instruments of his.
The forge is what will allow you to upgrade your weapons. Since I have all the upgrades unlocked already, I can just kind of pick and choose from here. So first off, for the fire bellows, I don't care about the fuel consumption that much. Crippling foes is actually really useful, though.
The thing about using that gas can is keeping a grip on it.
And then I can't move in fire if I have that one, but
that thing wasn't always meant to be a weapon, but there's no denying it now.
You know what, long range is going to help me a lot more in this mode because of just how crazy and chaotic it gets, how much damage enemies take, the fact that I take damage when I come in contact with them.
The marshals learn to pack those shells full of fire.
I'm going to say long range is going to reign king in this 10 idle playthrough.
Musket, you got to get rid of the recoil.
Okay, so I want to move some of this stuff around. Definitely want more damage on the musket.
Now we're looking at some serious fire.
You know what, I'm going to upgrade. What else? Cripples or... Yeah, I can't pass up 2 shots at once. Okay, so that's my spread and range now.
So he's got to guess again.
Looks good. Okay, so that's going to be it for the forge for now. I still have my mirror shield, right?
Yep. For the biggest dump in town. Scumbag Alley.
So here we're seeing a variety of sizes to the scumbag. Some of them are huge, some of them are tiny, and they charge you.
The oldest scumbag of them all, Gershel.
The bigger they are, the further they can charge. Gershel here, being the biggest scumbag, can charge pretty much clear across this arena. And we have this cart spawning in squirts all the while we fight him. So we'll put some flame dots on him. Also, the gooey blue trail that they leave in their wake will harm you, and because any damage that you take from an enemy also slows you down with the 10 idols activated, this becomes problematic. I'm not sure if you can actually counter that charge or not.
The calamity ain't
Don't want to try, because I'm doing pretty well.
They always said old Gershel wouldn't go without a fight. No core, no surprise. Like the gas fellas are hiding it from him.
So we'll fill up at the fountain.
He heads for the squirt steps. Won't be no field trip this time.
So the 3 black tonics you see below my health bar are my secret skills. The 5 teal ones are my health tonics. Man, Mirror Shield is actually really, really useful. I don't think I've used it that much in the past.
Hopes he'll never see one again. They say even the most rambunctious squirts can be tamed.
And I picked that one up by accident. I know which way is the right way, I just wanted to explore the side path. Oh, shit.
Kid got something for his trouble.
I wanted to explore the side path first.
Just don't know when to quit.
So we'll dot them up, let that do its work. Dot, by the way, if you're not familiar, is damage over time. So far, not too chaotic, but it's only the first level.
Used to live, tending to his flock.
Gonna skip by all the sentry turrets.
But it's locked down tight in an alloy cage.
This is where it's gonna get a little bit dicey. So those medium-sized ones with the hammers pop you up into the air. The red one does a whirlwind. You have a very tiny arena because of these guys, so I'm gonna try to go around the outside and take them out before, while he's distracted by my squirts, which I traded in my Mirror Shield secret skill to spawn. God, that worked out well. Once you kill the big red one, the other ones around the outside of the arena just kind of fall in love with you. You're the new sheriff.
The whole place grown, but it's too tough to fall. Kid's ready to go, and his ticket out's right where he started.
Future episodes won't be quite this chaotic with information and new mechanics, but they really front load you right off the bat with all the essential things you need to know about the game.
In his pack. The monument's calling for it.
And before we place that core, that's going to do it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.